Today I want to talk to you about why I want to use Scrum, Agile, name it whatever you want it, process for marketing. It all starts with a book that I have read now multiple times. I also did the audiobook because I like it so much, and it's called Scrum, The Art of Doing Twice the Work in Half the Time, and it's written by Jeff Sutherland and JJ Sutherland. I will put a link in the description so you can go and find it on Amazon. But what's Scrum? What's Agile? What is it? What am I talking about? Now, software engineering has done that now for quite some time, but when you read the book, you will see it's applicable way outside of Scrum. But in short, if you never heard of that, it's basically the old way of how we have done software is you would go in, you would interview a bunch of stakeholders trying to figure out everything they need to do, and then you would go in your basement and you start developing, and then 2 or 3 years later, you're gonna have a software that is clumsy, buggy, and maybe the business has moved on and actually doesn't even need the features anymore they requested at the moment you interviewed them, but has new requests. And so Scrum basically says, forget that waterfall principle. It does not work. There is lots of evidence that it doesn't work, and let's do it differently. And it's kind of like, let's break software apart, start at the basics. We break it down in tasks, and then we do sprints. And sprints is the time where we develop something, and that is something that you as an organization can agree on. It could be 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's up to you a little bit how long that sprint is, where you take what's in the backlog, you work on it, and then at the end of a sprint, it needs to be something workable, something that you can actually use. And so if you think a little bit about that, for example, if you want to be able to print letters, that print functionality could be as simple as what you really want is you want to click print and something should print. You may also want to make sure that you know which department prints how much. You want to use cost centers or things like that. But the core functionality is print. So we could do the first sprint that you can print. Second sprint, we could add the functionality maybe with cost centers and so on. I hope you get the drift. Now, if we move to marketing, we still work very much with more or less traditional project management approaches. And I think it's time that we adjust, because the products, specifically in the tech industry, are being made in an agile manner. And we also need to make sure marketing has that agility. And so when you think of a PowerPoint presentation about a product, PowerPoint presentation in itself is technically a product. You have change requests you need to update. Those could be bugs, those could be errors that needs to be done. And we can, have discussed to a lot of different stakeholders, try to include all of their feedback and go on and this and that. And in the end, we have something hopefully good, but we're probably going to start again because things have changed in the meantime, etc., etc. Now, the real challenge to me, though, is that software engineering who has been doing this for a while, they have awesome tools. If you never tested it out, check Azure DevOps or GitHub. It's awesome. It's really awesome how it helps you to go through that process and coordinate certain things. So I'm thinking this year at the big hackathon week, I try to recruit some people and see if we could create a template or something that takes what GitHub does, but adds some marketing lingo in it that for your next event or whatever it is you work on, that would allow you to use also basically the Scrum process to be more agile in the things you do. I know for myself, it's super hard. Engineering teams can be big teams. I have a lot of stakeholders. They ask a lot of questions. Oh, we need to change this there. Can we do a campaign? We need to go to this event and things like that. And I have ideas. My bosses have ideas. And I feel like if I can create transparency, which what Scrum really does, where I have a work board where I'm like, okay, this is the backlog. These are the tasks we're going to do in the next 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever the sprint length is. And then we start executing against those, make incremental changes, but are also able to respond to changing needs and requirements. And overall, I'm a big believer that this will help us tremendously to even provide more value to the end customers, to internal stakeholders, etc., because it will allow us to even react faster than we're doing right now, and hopefully bring some order into the chaos that sometimes just can be at work. Now, my question is to you. Would you use a tool like GitHub if it would help you, let's say in a business function like marketing. If so, give me a thumbs up. If not so, don't give me a thumbs down, just leave a comment. No, I'm kidding. Leave a comment if this is something you would use and you would be interested and I should invest time to make it happen or not. I look very much forward to hear from you. And if you haven't done yet, please make sure you subscribe to this channel and click the little bell button so you get notified when I post the next video. And with that, D. Dave Kurt out.